Hey everyone, I've been asked to put together a video on 5 minute scalping, and I've taken a few days to have a good long think about it. And I've done a bit of looking around on YouTube to see what's out there. And um, the most scary thing I see is that there is a lot of videos on how to scalp 5 minute charts, and I can tell you right now that those videos will just get you wrecked. Okay, so most of them are talking about things like RSI crossovers. They're talking about things like moving averages. They're talking basically they're talking about indicators a lot of the time, and those indicators are going to be delayed. They're going to be behind the times, and you do not have a lot of time. If you're dealing with a 5 minute chart, you've really got to get in at the right moment. You got to get out at the right moment, and there's a few things that personally I do and things that I think are important. So first of all, it's pure price action trading. Okay, you're not going to be looking at anything else other than what the price is doing and what the price will do. So that would be my number one. Um, Number two is you need the right tools. Okay, so if you're going to try and do this on a DEX, you're probably going to get wrecked. Okay, both from a fees perspective and also just a time perspective. It's going to take too long to actually create an order, to change an order, that sort of stuff. It's just not ideal. So you're going to want to use a centralized exchange, to do this kind of thing. Three, if you can link TradingView, that will be ideal. Because you want to be able to actually use something like the TradingView position tool. So you've got this tool over here, like this one, and you can use this to create orders and stop losses and your TPs, and you can basically come in here and go create limit order. And if you are linked to a exchange, it will actually put that order straight through onto the exchange. So you're not having to type it in, you're not having to write down levels, remember levels, you're just being able to put the order in, set stall up, and off it goes. And these are all things that are going to make it a lot easier to scalp on things like 5 minute charts. Also, you're going to want to have the right token. Okay, so scalping 5 minute charts on Bitcoin is actually pretty pointless because it just simply doesn't move enough on average in 5 minutes. Solana, which I like to trade, not really that great for scalping on 5 minute charts either. There's a big difference between scalping a 5 minute chart and using 5 minute charts to confirm an entry, which is what I would suggest people do learn. Like, learn how to trade a 4 hour chart but with a 5 minute entry, and then you will be able to take trades that might run for a bit longer, but they'll be greedy entries. They'll make bigger moves and more money. But if you really want to trade a 5 minute chart, first you got to find the right token. So I've looked at this World Liberty Finance a bit today, just because it's all the hot topic at the moment. But it's also moving a lot, so there are some 5 minute moves. One which has just played out, which I'll show you, which is a 2% move in that 5 minute range. So yep, that's tradable, and you can make money on that. So next is risk. Okay, and this is because time is fractal. Okay, and higher time frame rules. So what I mean by this is that if you think you can open up a really big position on a 5 minute chart and not get wrecked, you might get away with it a few times. I've certainly taken some pretty big risks on 5 minute charts before, just out of complete drunken trading. But I would suggest that you don't do it. You need to make sure that you are trading with smaller sizes if you're dealing with these low time frame charts, because it only takes one 5 minute candle to run into a 4 hour hold level to send the price down through your entry, down through your stop loss, and do it quickly. So you notice you get a lot of candles that spike up and down violently on low time frames, and then they tend to return to the norm and they tend to play out what they're meant to do. But the violence comes about because they run into something at a higher time frame, and the higher time frame takes control over the situation. So trading low time frame charts is risky. Okay. But the other key thing there is that time is fractal. So you don't need to ask me how to trade on a 5-minute chart. It's absolutely no different to trading on a 1-hour chart or a daily chart. It's just it happens a lot faster. So the moves in general, therefore, are smaller, but again, that depends on finding the right token. And if you know how to trade a trend break to a hold, or a hold rejection to a trend, or a break level breakout, or an origin level breakout, if you know how to trade any of that stuff that I've covered in the video or in the Discord before, then you can do it on a 5-minute chart. My suggestion is, though, that you learn how to do it on a higher time frame, or you learn how to do it on a replay tool. Don't just jump into trying to make money out of 5-minute charts, because you're going to have to be able to make the decisions really quickly with confidence, not second guess yourself, and you're also going to have to know how to get out real fast, because the price can reverse just as quick on a 5-minute chart as it goes in one direction first. So at least with a daily or something like that, you have a bit of time often to think about, oh yeah, what comes next. But with a 5-minute chart, you do not get a lot of time to think about what comes next. So these are probably some of the key things. Okay. Now let's have an actual look at what this chart is doing. So if we just zoom right in on this 5-minute level, okay, and first thing, we have a backside, we have a front side, and we now have price going up again. Okay, so whatever is happening over here, no different to any other time frame, is because of what happened over here, and whatever is happening here is because of what has happened through here. Okay, so it's exactly the same as any other educational videos I've put out there. And if I was to scrub out the time frame that's up in the top corner of the chart here and just show this to you, I could tell you that's a daily, and you wouldn't know any different. If I hit the price, if I hit the time frames, if I paused it and just said, what time frame's this? You honestly wouldn't know, because time frame is just fractal. So you take a snapshot of just that area of the screen and you don't show anything around it. How would you know? It's just candles, okay? And they're all doing what they're doing. They're building ranges, they're rejecting off hold levels, they're breaking trends. It's all identical. So the first thing you got to do is, let's say we wanted to find this breakout. First thing you got to do is you got to find a trend, okay? Now, one of the sort of easy ways to identify whether something is a sweep or the top of a trend is just to start a few candles back. So if we start here, which is not quite the high, and we take it to there, this cuts through it. So that really means that that's probably going to be the sweep. So we'll then take this one and we'll bring it down to here. Okay. So this was our first trend break. It's already happened, and it's already hit the hold levels. Okay, so there's no trade in here anymore. Like it broke trend, and in the same motion, it went to the hold levels. So all it did was it moved the trend. So the trend is now out there. Okay. And when I move that trend, you can see it rejected right there, like perfect rejection. So that gives you a bit of justification that, number one, the trend did start there, which we identified because of the sweep potential of that candle, and we started a little bit further back. You should start way further back, but for the sake of scalping, you're not really worried about where the furthest trend is in all this, because it's actually irrelevant. It's going to run into something bigger before it even gets there. So for the sake of it, we're really just dealing with these lower time frame moves. So we start here, our trend goes to there, we have a trend break, it targets the hold, the motion's done, we move the trend, we reject the trend. Now there's another interior trend that's formed, which is there to there, and that is currently where our price action is. So we would want to have our long position ready, and we'd want to look at the areas that the price could reverse on the backside. So one of them is there, one of them is there. So any of these levels, and the other one would be possibly that break level, that hard close break level retested. And looking at that, it's already in an area where it could technically reverse. So anywhere in this area, we would be sort of saying, okay, well, there's plenty of levels down here to reverse off, and we've got a proper hold level down there. So So now let's just skip forward. Okay. Now it's opened back up and bounced off the top of this break level right here. Okay. So looking at that really closely, if this candle here did not touch that break level, which it may not have, ooh, it's really close. Might just be easier to do this. What do we? That's exactly on it, isn't it? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that you could argue that was already a retested break level based on that, because it hit it to the cent. So now we just need to see what happens. We get a trend break. Back down below, so it's consolidating. We have a new break here. So that's our new range break. Okay, it's rejecting off the exterior trend. What we want is we want the first hard close over this trend, and then we want to target either the backside of the range, which is here, or the hold level, or the break level. And because price can reject so quickly on 5-minute charts, I would say always just take the first one. Don't be greedy, because it can hit this and it can reject really quickly. Okay. So at this stage, we've still got no trade. We need a hard close of this trend. Okay, nothing. Okay, so what have we touched? So we've gone down. We've retested the backside here. We haven't retested this. Okay, we don't have any other hold levels. We haven't lost this. We're creating an origin. So you could potentially enter down here. Once we get over this trend. Okay. It'll be pretty safe to enter that. Okay, you can definitely enter that. So you could wait for a retest of the origin level down here, but you might miss it. Alternatively, what you do is you drag your tool up just up to that box there, right click, create limit order. If you were linked to an exchange in here, you would have an option in here for creating limit order. You'd go create limit order, hit enter, and then it would automatically put the limit order through and the TP level through, and it would automatically put the stop loss through, and then you would get your entry, and the rest should be, yeah, there we go. And then you get your target. So yes, you can scalp 5 minutes. Yes, you can make money. There's no difference between scalping a 5-minute versus a 1 hour, etc., etc. It's all the same as far as how you actually trade it. But you've just got to be able to make the decisions faster, and you've got to find the right token. Like, this isn't too bad at a 2.4% move, but that same 5-minute structure on something like Bitcoin just wouldn't be worth it versus the fees. What I would have done too is once this entry was gained, I would have picked up my phone, and I have the BitGet app on my phone, and I would have taken this TP that's up here and I would have changed it from being a market TP and made it into a limit order TP, just to reduce my fees on the move. And yeah, hopefully you get something out of that video. Short version is, though, I would honestly suggest that you just learn to trade on at least a 1 hour time frame, or something slightly bigger just to start with. And then once you're very proficient at those higher time frames, you will then be able to make the decisions fast enough to actually take the trades on the lower time frames. And if you get really good, then you can up your risk and all that kind of stuff as well. But Yeah. So short version is no indicators, pure price action, got to make your choices quickly. There are some tools that allow you to help speed things up. Um, and yeah, hopefully you get something out of this. Like and subscribe, and we're on 381 subscribers, which is, in my opinion, actually pretty cool considering I only really upload one video or maybe a couple of videos a day. But let's see if we can get to 500. All right, cheers, bye.